So, welcome to Mind Shifters Radio, and today is Monday, August the 24th, 2026. Welcome to the show, Sean, Susan, Dr. Michael Rice. Susan, how are you doing?
Hello. Oh yeah, it's quite a journey. Let's just say that. I don't even have the words for it. It feels like lifetimes old, and the only way that I can explain it, to even try to give language, this pain has something to do with, fractured pieces of the soul over lifetimes. That's all even to try to give it meaning, I'm just being with what is. And whatever comes up, I'm just breathing through it, allowing that to be liberated, whatever it is.
And we're breathing with you.
Yeah, sometimes it's extremely painful. So I'm not doing drugs at all. I'm just, yeah, and it feels important, and and also facing, because I decided not to have surgery. Although the doctor said, recommended surgery, and then also I got Lucy's husband looked at it. He also recommended surgery. But when I check in with my inner knowing, it's a no. So I'm just trusting that, and this is a test of faith for me, and to trust that the power that created the body has the power to heal the body. And at first I thought it was going to be to do surgery, but it came very clear it was a no. So I'm just trusting, and we'll see. All the stuff that's non-being mind energy that's locked in physiology is being liberated, and a lot of times it comes with pain, the mental construct of pain.
Well, certainly holding the space for you in the
Yeah.
deepest way possible.
Yeah, thank you so much, Michael. I really appreciate you checking in, and I'm just trusting. And this this now is the biggest initiation and test of my faith. It really is. It's what all the stuff. It's the same thing when I came to the first workshop with you, and you said to me, when my non-being mind energy was up, and you said, well, you could sit here and puke all over me, or you can align with who you say you want to be. And that's exactly what's happening right now, in a different way, just trusting the process, and whatever is meant to be liberated is being liberated to take me into
Big choice to make.
Yeah, it is to be in actuality, no matter what the illusion is telling me, just breathing with Ruka and trusting the process. So that's what I'm doing.
Well, holding you in our hearts for sure.
Yeah, thank you so much.
And remember that
Sean
the
and KK, if you
that word.
didn't,
Go ahead, Jeannie.
I was just going to say, if you didn't know, Susan had a bike wreck and she broke her collarbone in two places. So that's what she's referring to. Yeah.
I see. I didn't know that. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
about a week and a half behind on the show listening.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So, but I have to say, I mean, you weren't there, Sean, but there I was with my son, and it's all deep healing. And then
Yeah.
a paramedic and a nurse happened to be on the trail. They came upon me, and so they assisted me getting out. And when I went to the hospital, the nurses and everybody were just amazing. And I just got to have deep reverence for all the healthcare workers. And then the
Yeah.
emergency doctor recommended surgery, and I just said, I'm not resourced enough to make that decision. I got to sit with it. And then I was leaning
Right.
towards it. And then I went to my Touch for Health practitioner and did some really deep work. And then I went to the surgeon again, met with him, and it was a clear no. So, yeah, so I'm just trusting.
So nothing that would stop you from continuing to heal.
Yeah, and I think this is, it's a test of, I can feel it. And actually in the Course in Miracles, and I also just read a book by Neville Goddard, and he was very linked, and he had his awakening, and he outlined, we are servants of God. And to truly be a servant, miracles, there is no order of difficulty, as A Course in Miracles says. And it is overcoming my mind. It's overcoming the egoic mind right now. And I just trust my body has said the truth, what's true for it. And I'm facing everything that's a falsehood in my thinking.
Right.
So, yeah. And then also the pain as it ebbs and flows, which it feels like it's lifetimes old. Of many where I want to say that my soul fractured, and it's related to pain for sure. lifetimes, and I think we've had many lifetimes where there was a lot of pain. So it's bringing those pieces home and knowing all of this is an illusion, even though, know the truth, respect the illusion. What does Einstein say? It's an illusion, but an albeit persistent one. And so
It's kind of
when the pain's up, it feels like it. It feels like pain for sure.
it's kind of like when the gutter is stuck full of leaves and muck,
Yes.
and it otherwise flows from the top like it should, but then you
Yeah.
got to take the stick and poke it in there, jam it around,
Yeah.
fall off the bike or whatever, and then it flushes all the rest of it out. Yeah,
That's
yeah,
exactly true. And I can
yeah,
feel it. I can viscerally feel it in bone. I can viscerally feel it behind the heart where there's blocked energy. And I can feel where it's letting go, and then there's still resistance. And sometimes the resistance comes as extreme pain. And then I just continue to breathe it, just and letting it release. And this, you know, I checked my astrology and things, and it was right on time.
um,
I mean, I couldn't have made it up. Let's put it that way. How this
well,
is all unfolding.
not to compare yourself to others or even yourself, right?
Yeah.
But if you look at the contrast, you handling it something like this now versus 20, 30 years ago,
Hmm.
maybe you would have been angry or mad or resent the
Yeah.
situation.
Oh, for
So
sure.
yeah, let it
For,
flow.
yeah, for sure. And also, I was saying to Michael when I first fell and my son came rushing over, and it landed right on the spot where energy is stuck and hasn't been able to flow, like
Right.
exactly the spot. And so I said, my first thought was, God be with me, just be with me. And then I said to my son, I have to come back to the breath. I just need a moment. I got to bring
Yeah.
breath. I got to bring breath into the body. So I was very proud that and I've been holding that. I know it's for me 1000% and trusting the process.
Yeah.
And
I
it's
think it's
also,
also very cool
yeah,
that you've got two men there just taking care of you.
yeah. And then
That's pretty awesome.
yeah,
There you go.
I'm back in my own place now. And Esbjorn came over and he had comfrey. He went and dug up some comfrey and we made a mash. And so I've been putting that on as well. So he came for a visit. So I really appreciate that. And yeah, many,
Nice.
many, many masculines are showing up to help out. So, and it's also for me to truly be in rest. I can't, it's really, I can get distracted by busyness. So I'm really being asked to be present with what's up.
Yep.
And I'm not running anywhere. It's just allowing this to be liberated, whatever this mind energy is that's been stuck for lifetimes. And I'm getting lots of visions of many lifetimes. I mean, really deep visions, being a little boy running a scroll down the street, and Atlantean times. Many, many, many visions are coming.
Hey, that leads into a question I actually kind of had. Uh, I had invited a few people on. I'm not sure if they'll make it, but I'll propose a question or a topic if that's okay.
Go for it.
So I was wondering the other day, dreams. Everyone has a question about dreams, how they work and such. So if it's true that the kingdom is within, and as the Buddhists say, everything that we have need of is already within us. So do we go anywhere? Does our consciousness go anywhere during dreams, or is everything in the environment of within the body? It's kind of like Paul said, whether in the body or out of the body, I don't know. So maybe we still have that question unanswered.
But I saw things which I could not utter.
Right. Where did that come
And that,
from?
well, if you accept the thesis, which I think is true, that we are energy systems and that
Yes.
every energy that we meet is registered holographically in every cell in the structure, then we have this massive, massive database that's been in development for eons. It's
Yeah.
interesting. The redwood trees, they say that, this redwood that looks like a relatively new tree is actually thousands of years old, that it's grown up out of the root of the mother tree, and that it's just one continuous life.
Yeah.
And it may well be that being our own ancestors, our own descendants, that we get to kill as many forms as we choose to or decide to, and that when we're willing to, you know, normally most people in their normal waking state, because our culture has pretty much set virtually everybody up to be a member of the one world universal religion of blame, very dedicated, devout members, that we hide from ourselves and create this barrier. And that barrier is kind of this fenestrated barrier, and in sleep, the weaving loosens and information becomes available from what we normally keep out of awareness. My best understanding is that's where our dreams come from. Can we travel out of the form and experience other things? It's a theory. Either explanation works. And to me, the most important thing is, what am I going to do about it here and now today? Am I going to do the work that it takes to maintain my human life? My created essence is love. Or am I going to fall prey to whatever happens to be firing in the mind at the moment, which for most people constitutes what they think is real, what they think is true.
Right.
So that's my take.
Yeah, it's
How about you?
interesting to, well, it comes from the question of how do we bring up things from the unconscious so that it goes to the consciousness so it can be handled by the light. And then when we say the light, is there new information, like thinking? I was explaining about thinking yesterday. Instead of old corrupted recycled data that we use and we call thinking, there's something that would come from outside of our own being, whether it be a cosmic energy force from outer space, or a book that we read, or some voice that we hear over the internet. When it goes into our brain system through our ear sensors, it does something, right? It pulls up files and we organize it and we do things. Things shuffle around. And sometimes we call that healing, but more specifically, calling up the unconscious into what people call the light, or the breath, if you will. I think a lot of it is synonymous.
Yeah, I would take
process.
that as synonymous.
Mm-hmm. And so in that process, if we can identify where the unconscious is, we can more efficiently heal. But then, I don't want to get off into other formulas or territories, because everyone has to see the work for themselves. I have to heal for me. You can't heal me for me, right? Now you can facilitate me feeling safe enough to call up something and do that work, which is what we do here, feeling safe, secure enough to do so, seeing a method, seeing hope, if you will. But I just thought it kind of curious how it ties together, with the unconscious and what dreams really are, because sometimes you can have a fluidly conscious dream, where you're speaking and you can actively think and you can do these things and you can ask questions and get information and such. And then there's the run-of-the-mill brick in the wall, what a weird dream, like he had bad pizza the night before or something. What makes the difference in that also? Someone had brought it up that you can use something like DMT, but we don't need to do that because there's other technology out there, whether it's quantum still point, or stillness in general, some type of meditation, and you have access to these different things. But I don't know if you have any definition for accessing unconscious. I know that there's the worksheet process, but if there were a word definition, what would it be?
Well, when you think of everything as energy, a good comparison is I have a stereo over here, and there's a massive number of frequencies available. through this tuning mechanism on this stereo.
Yep.
So I can turn the volume up, tune the tuner, and I tune, let's say I'm on the AM dial, I tune to 900, and I'm listening to a broadcast. So all of the other information that's available through that system would be unconscious at that moment. We're conscious of what we're tuned to and the volume's turned up.
Yes.
We can also leave the station or the radio tuned to that frequency and turn the volume down so you're not hearing anything. To me, that would be like unto the subconscious. It's available, but we've turned the volume down on it.
Well, then let me ask.
Well, let me give the third piece of the puzzle.
Sure.
So the third piece of the puzzle is then if we turned this tuner off altogether,
Yeah.
900 is still coming into the tuning mechanism. It's still in the radio, but it's not available in any way, shape, or form. So it would be comparable to the unconscious. So it's all got to do with the amplitude at which whatever we're tuned to is vibrating. And there's only, in that context, there's only one, what we call mind, and that is the function of the firing of brain cells. And there are three levels. There's what I can't access, what I can access at will, subconscious becomes conscious, and then whatever I am accessing currently would be conscious.
So, all right, so similar frequencies then. So then, how would, because I taught on the two filters yesterday, and how something gets in there through fear and hostility and building new memories, so that when you see Sally walking down the street, you don't call up the old memories, but you have new ones, new circuits in the brain that present new information rooted in love instead of fear, hostility. So correct me if I'm wrong, because I think I'm not thinking of this part correctly. In order to go in and access the old frequency that was built in fear or hostility, you have to do that with a matching fear and hostility, is what it sounds like. What's the piece I'm missing? Can love access the fear and hostility?
Yes.
Okay.
I can become, if I'm in the breath, I can become aware of something that normally I would only be aware of when I'm in either hostility or fear. But through willingness, I can breathe and access. I can have the memory of, man, I can remember when this used to come up and I would just go into stark raving physical terror.
Right.
And there's a penchant to do that right now, but I'm going to keep breathing and applying my breath to dissolve this energy that I've accumulated, perhaps over generations, perhaps over decades. I'm going to keep breathing and dissipate this energy until this memory just comes up and bingo, there's the memory. There's nothing attached to it. It's just the memory.
That's it.
It's
now,
clean.
If someone is dealing with something repetitively, like in a cycle, going around the mountain again, why is this happening to me again? And it continues to happen. Is that a blockage somewhere? Or is that a hidden goal that had not been exposed or discovered yet?
Well, my take on that would be recognizing that we are creators. We bring about that which happens in our lives. Through resonance, we draw somebody in to play something out with us. Mm-hmm. If I have an old terror and trauma that I haven't resolved, and something triggers it into activity, and I hold my breath and I lock it down and I shut it down, and I don't want to look at it, I don't want to deal with it.
Yeah,
I'm literally on an energetic level, pressing that energy out into the world, setting up a tuning fork, setting up a resonance to draw somebody in to play that out with me. If someone shows up that has the matching bag of garbage, it's going to take them being very conscious to do anything other than just play that hostility example out with me. Someone very conscious might notice that, gee, I came in here to connect with you and to be supportive and caring and loving, and I just noticed some old rage came up in me, which I wanted to point at you. But
Mhm.
realizing that turned in my membership card to the One World Universal Religion of Blame, I've quit that church. I'm going to take responsibility and recognize I have some rage in here. I'm going to breathe into it and I'm going to forgive as to my rage. The person who attracted the rager has a similar opportunity. Unfortunately, most people, their attraction is through their matching bags of garbage. She has the rage, he has the fear. He has the rage, she has the fear. They're drawn together, they play it out, and that just runs their lives. Getting conscious means that I step out of blame, I take responsibility, and I clean up. If your rage brings up my fear, I'm going to breathe into my fear. I'm going to own my fear rather than stand in denial and dissociation and tell myself a lie that you make me afraid. I'm going to
Right.
stop and go, I have some fear. Now, I can close down the veil of my temple. I can hide that from myself by holding my breath. And then my mind will build a picture, will literally build a construct of how you're the cause of my fear. Because of my denial,
Mhm.
I'll believe that. Or I can
Mhm.
breathe into it and go, wow, thanks for your most generous trigger. Thanks for showing me what I didn't even realize I had in here. And by the way, would you breathe with me and support me in cleaning this up? And now, instead of a relationship based in matching bags of garbage, we've got a relationship based in matching bags of willingness to heal, take responsibility, and move through the layers. That's the difference in doing the work and not doing the work. For me,
Incredible.
that's
Yeah.
how I would describe it. So
Yeah.
every time I come to someone who has the matching bag of garbage, there's an opportunity for both of us to change what we resonate in each other.
Right.
I can change what
Gotcha.
resonates in me. You can change what resonates in you. Or I can say, I can see that what I just said brought up some fear for you. And I heard your words and I realized there's a lot of fear moving in you. How about taking a breath with me, stepping into my mind for a moment with me? Just come on in here for a minute. I have a safe space where I don't have that fear. And what I'd like
Mhm.
to do is support and explore moving through that for both of us. And now we create a transformation and it becomes healing through relationship rather than the blame game.
That's a quantum level item, really.
Yes. Yeah. It
Yeah.
turns everything around. I mean, most people live in the structure of their minds. And the structure of their minds, when you go to the scriptures, they talk about the mind of man. Well, when they talk about man, you're talking about a carbon-based memory system, and everything that's ever happened within that carbon-based memory system tends to play out. If I become conscious that I have this carbon-based memory system with 1,000 generations of who knows what kind of crazy and what kind of wonderful, what kind of healing power. What about that ancestor 10 generations ago that did this monumental piece of healing work and brought it into their family system and brought it into the culture? Wow, I have that too. And I can count on that. I can call and then I can bring that forward. And the focal point of our workshop, Healing Through Relationships, is to recognize that it is through our relationships that we heal. Most people play the game of matching bags of garbage, and instead of healing through their relationships, they destroy themselves through their relationships.
Right. Yeah, that's prevalent. Yeah, that's pretty common.
Yeah,
You helped me,
it's
yeah. Michael, you just helped me. You just framed exactly what is happening in my story right now. So I've
share with
resonated
us.
in,
Tell us.
well, because I resonate. Okay, so there was because first of all, when I came to the session with you, I really said I want to go, and I also had went to a UWP ceremony, a First Nations ceremony, and I said I wanted to, just before I came to you, and I said I wanted to remove everything that's in the way for me to be God's presence. And then I came to you and it went really deep and I got to see where I was holding fear and hostility towards men. That was my fear and hostility. And then I projected it out. And then I externalized that to men. So, and men were mirroring the fear and hostility that was within me. So I got to see that very clearly. And then when I did the the wipeout. So there was an energy operating within me that called into activity this breakage in my physiology. And so I could have used it as a matching bags of garbage and, oh, why did this happen to me? All that stuff went to the blame game. But I chose in the moment, I knew it was for me. And
That
so,
was your from Thursday in the quantum still point to Friday shift. That was
yes,
so awesome to watch.
yeah. And so I knew that this is for me and God be with me, because I just wanted to say to Sean, so choosing love in the moment, because that's what I'm doing. So I'm facing these old energetic patterns that's locked in my physiology for whatever reason. It might be in my family system, could be past lives, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But there it is. This breakage is an opportunity to choose love and to
Right.
allow whatever energy is stuck in my physiology and my pain body to be released. And I can observe it. And then in the observation of it, it gets liberated, because I'm meeting it with Rockma open, with the intention of Rockma and the perception of Kuba, as that is coming up for healing and coming with it. Since it's happened, I mean, I got to see, first of all, I got to radiate out love. I got to be, the reverence of love I got to hold for the healthcare workers was unlike anything I've ever done before. And I could feel it really radiating when I was in the emergency room. And then also the other people that were there that were in illness. So I got to hold
Yeah.
love. And then as I'm navigating this journey, being with what's actually viscerally happening on the body. And I can feel it. It's liberating old stuck energy that's bound in bone. And I'm just breathing with it, and I'm choosing love, and I know God be with me. That's my saying right now. God be with me as I process this. I'm not asking God to take it away. I'm asking that I have the vitality that the higher beings and God and Yeshua and Mary and all, there's many beings coming in, by the way. There's many, 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 that they be with me as I process what is stuck in physiology.
It's similar to I recently had a realization on something is right in front of my nose. When someone says that there's something too painful that to face, that they can't face it head on and handle it. Yes, there is the worksheet process that slows things down. That's a very useful tool. And
Mhm.
I also had this thought. If you pick something that's adjacent to it, similar, and you deal with that, it's something that's not as uncomfortable to deal with or such a hot topic. In the brain, it's a similar chemistry, it's a similar electric circuit process that happens. You build the new brain cells, and in the neural structures fire, and that circuitry completes for that healing process for that thing that you can look at, so that when you are ready and able to look at the other issue, the circuitry is already there. It just has to adapt slightly.
Yeah,
I thought that was kind of neat. It sounds like that's exactly what you're dealing with when we pour out love to others, or we be that conduit or beacon of love. That frequency, that energy emits. It's kind of like the rivers of living water that
yeah,
go forth. Those are streams of energy.
yeah,
Consciousness, energy that go to others in healing
yeah,
the nations.
yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of neat. Well,
It's cool. And then also, but I can't remember how it's said in the Bible, but this house has many mansions. I believe when he talks
uh,
about that, it's we're going into various states of consciousness, and we get to
yes.
choose, because it's infinite of what we want to perceive. And I
Yeah.
mean, we're in this tuning fork of a perceptual reality. And I mean, I just, even in this situation, I could have went to a whole different story. Why did this happen to me? And oh my gosh, I can't believe this happened. And even walking out when the guy said, the paramedic said, the nurse asked him, how long will it take for her recovery? And he said, depends if she has to have surgery. And then I said, well, I'm not choosing that timeline. As I'm walking out, I said, I'm not choosing a surgery timeline.
Well, that's coherence coming
Yeah.
online. I
Yeah.
recently I recently asked of myself, I said, well, what the heck is faith anyway? Is it
Yes.
something that you can put in a jar, paint it red, in hand to somebody, I don't believe that it's something that's like an achievement or
Yeah.
something that's a tangible, intangible object. I've been working on a definition if I can share it with everybody.
Sure.
Okay, we'll put this out into the ether. So faith serves as a fundamental operating system of inner structure of trust within consciousness. It constitutes the unseen foundation upon which perception, intention, and action emerge. When the mind attunes itself to divine coherence, faith transforms into the dynamic force that enables intangible truth to manifest as tangible expression. Faith functions as the governing mental mechanism that organizes perception, intention, and action. It serves as the internal calibration mechanism through which consciousness either progresses toward love and coherence or retreats through fear and separation. Because you can have a reverse faith or an upside down inverted faith. It works either way.
Yeah, pessimism is just faith, reverse.
Yeah.
Ah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, doubt.
And
To me, the opposite of faith is doubt. It's my, because doubt does the same. You can hold either way. It works. It's on the pendulum. So it's either going to, I love how you said it's either going to coherence or it's going to
yeah,
discoherence.
what's running the
Yeah.
machine?
And people
Yeah.
can have tremendous faith in the negativity.
Yes.
They have
Right.
tremendous faith. I know this is what they're going to do next.
And that's
Yeah.
the
And
thing.
that's a
And you
form of
believe
faith.
that. Yeah. And then you believe in that. So again, that's what you believe and you're holding the faith towards that. That's what you're going to see. It's the operating system and the body. That's the one thing, because the body's a learning device of the mind. And I love what you said there about faith, because I feel it's also, it feels like a frequency that I get to ride. So grace is the same for me. So holding into grace. And I've had moments where grace has flowed through me. It was not me per se, but there was moments when I could have made a different action, and people saw and they commented how I held this depth of grace in a situation where I could have made a completely different choice. And it wasn't me. It came from a divine place. And I also feel somewhat we get to choose and ride faith as well. The
And of
coherent
course, what
faith.
directions it pointed in.
Yes. And the
One direction we
faith
call
of,
it faith, the other we call
yeah,
it pessimism.
yeah. And to be married into faith, because even with what I'm facing right now, because there's still I'm in this physical body where all the outer world is telling me all this stuff, and these experts will say, surgeons and that, and yet my inner knowing is saying trust your inner, right, trust your knowing. And yes, I get the opinions of that. That's my test of faith. And I feel, in all honesty, this is an initiation. This particular piece is that
How do you mean?
that we're chosen by God. Like, we're all of us are called, and few choose the path to really step in, and then to be conduits of God. We are tested in our faith to see if we can hold the truth. So some people might, would have went for surgery right away. And even
Yeah.
though now, let me put it this way, if my body said you must do surgery, then that would be the highest truth in the moment. But right now it's a no. It's a no. So I feel this then is an opportunity, an initiation of my faith.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of like you passed the test this time.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
and I think that, yeah, initiations test, yes. There's something
Right.
with that. And it's to test the resolve of my spirit.
Hmm.
That this is, and because everything outside of me is telling me one thing, and I've had this happen before, by the way, in my life, where everybody outside of me told me to go this path, and it was back when I had to go take my employer to court, and everybody told me to
Yeah.
settle. Everybody said settle. My husband, the lawyer, everybody, and I just said it was a no. So I just stuck to that, and then it went in my direction. But if and I felt even then, it feels very similar in this situation. But the evidence outside of me is saying to do this, but yet my inner knowing is saying something else, and so that is the opportunity. And I love how you worded it, though. It really is. It's, yeah, and not everybody chooses to be in the coherent side of faith.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's something that I've put together from a few different studies, and it's just amazing how it all really kind of works,
Yeah.
together. It blends over. Well,
Yeah.
I only have one more question for everyone, I guess. I'm stepping in for somebody at this point because it doesn't look like they were able to make it. Um, if I may.
Go for it.
Thank you.
That's what we're here
So
for.
absolutely. And I'll copy the show over. Um, so if someone says that in order to be there, or if someone says their ideal outcome for a workplace situation would give them the sense of having a place in the world, a place to call home, or the feeling of belonging. I know that there's goals in there, but what does that indicate? Someone that doesn't feel they don't belong. And this is let's just say a 55-year-old man who's knowledgeable, kind of like a Terry, he reminds me of. And the kindest, gentlest guy, but to him, all of his bosses in the past call him rebellious. And I don't think that he's being rebellious. I think that he's paying attention to such detail to things and processing in a different way than people would expect. So he has to work for himself. But he says he has no home in the world. What would we offer
Well,
to
Mike,
somebody like that?
I would ask him the question, how did it feel when his power person rejected him? I could just about
Yeah,
guarantee that's a power person dynamic. It was a message,
yeah,
the earliest messages that tend to create an overarching dynamic in somebody's whole lifetime are the messages received one of two ways from the power person, or pardon me, I should say more accurately, involving the power person. One is where the power person gives a direct message. And it's like, so the message would be something to the effect of, you don't belong. You're broken. Why are you
right.
even here? So I'd
Can't
ask
do
him
anything right.
what
Yeah,
it felt like. Yeah, what it felt like to receive that message. And then I'd hand him the power person worksheet, which is up to 22 pages now, and offered the opportunity to break that whole structure down. Because feelings, when he says, I feel this way, feelings are nothing but shadows of thoughts. There are thought
sure.
disorders about not belonging. And so those things need to be forgiven in order for that to be eradicated from his physiology. That would be my first direction to go with that.
Sure thing. Yeah,
And then
definitely. Yeah,
yeah, and then interesting because more and more now, even the power person dynamic that we come into the world to resolve, that I believe more and more, just like I resonated the accident into being,
hmm,
this incident, the same is the pattern that I resonated into my experience as a human. So this is clear. And the initial not belonging is our original separation from God.
right.
That the origin, the depth of it, so that he feels out of belonging. And the thing, I remember Michael telling me and other people telling me, but I didn't know this energy was that I was emitting this energy into the field, this intimidation energy. I had no concept I was in blockage to truth. And I was intimidated as a kid constantly. So then I took that on in my pattern. That's how I would be interacting in the world. And people would say they felt intimidated, but that was the energy I was resonating out. So his out of belonging energy, he'd likely pick that up with the power person. The power person would have imposed that upon him that he didn't belong. And then he took that on and radiated that out into the world. And then he gets that as a reflection. But the origin is, I believe, our original separation, the spark when we,
Separation.
yeah, then when we said that we are separate from God. And I
So
guarantee
if
it energetically, I can sense into his field a little that, yeah, that he believes God's out there and he's over here. He, that he,
correct,
and that God is for everybody else, but he's outside of it. And that's what he came to
Correct.
reconcile. That is exactly what he came to reconcile in his soul. And nobody,
Yes.
having lived that myself, there it is, the journey of the reconciliation of the soul fragments or whatever it is, to come home, to arrive at the knowingness that we are a part of God.
Yes.
And that's a progression of every soul goes through that path to find their way. They're on a journey without distance to a place they never left. And even
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, in my story right now, when I go and I'm doing the cleaning, it feels like it's a layer of cling wrap being lifted off, layer by
Yeah.
layer.
The grave clothes are coming off of Lazarus.
Yes, that's exactly it. And in this whole masculine, for me right now, the whole masculine feminine, this masculine piece of not accepting that part of myself, and I have not been embodied in that part of me, and that's what's healing right now. And the layers of separation towards the masculine essence of God, and coming back and healing, and then landing and moving into the embodiment of that aspect of me. That's what's occurring. And so for him, that will be his path. And even the question, interest in creation, and being able to, we have to move to the victim mentality, because there is no victim, there
Correct.
is no perpetrator, and there is no hero.
That's a
It's
good
only,
point.
yeah, that
Yeah.
it's only different aspects to bring us back, that we were never in separation. And as Michael always says, we have to go out, we have to come home the same way we went out.
Hmm.
So where he is, this not belonging, this is the piece this is the shadow that he has to go through in order to go through the tunnel to find his way home.
Excellent. Yeah. Yeah.
Alternately, if he has no recall of ever getting that kind of a message from his power person,
Yeah.
then the next step I would take with him would be to invite him to look at what behaviors happened around him that he made up the story. So sometimes it's directly received verbally from the power person. Other times it's indirectly
Mm-hmm.
self-imposed based on conclusions around power person behavior. So
And
one
that
can
plays out
have
with,
an active, one can receive an active power person message, or they can create the power person message. Since my power person did this and this and this and did that to me, I believe that I'm not acceptable. So that's a passive making up of the message. But either way, that's my offering would be that's what needs to be forgiven, and that's what the power person worksheet is about.
and that gets painted on other people.
Yeah, whoever
Yeah.
resonates it, whoever,
Right.
if as long as one lives in denial, remember our definition of denial. When I think or speak as though something outside of me is the cause of what's moving in me. So if I'm feeling not worthy, and I say, every time you look at me like that look, you just make me feel so unworthy.
Hmm.
Now I'm in denial. And so what in essence I've said to my evidential mind is, mind, you are not allowed to show me the truth of the fact that I hold a thought disorder, that I'm not acceptable. Build me a picture of, let's see, who was that gave me that? Oh, that was Harry. Build me a picture of Harry being the cause of my feeling unworthy. And so my mind paints a picture on the inside. Now, I think I'm looking through my eyes at Harry actually out there, but I'm really looking at a picture painted on the inside
Right.
of my eyeballs by my brain of my dissociated content, my lie that keeps the truth of. I've been through this 87 different times with 42 different people. I'm the only one that was every time. This is about me. And so forgiveness is about peeling that image off of the inside of the eyeballs and going to the root of the thought disorder behind it, however it was acquired, bringing it to breath and dissolving it. And it's the
Yes.
dissolution of that energetic thought disorder that is forgiveness.
That's spot on. Thank you all for helping with my friends.
Delighted,
Absolutely.
just doing our job.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Sweet. Well, any other thoughts?
Not from me, not right now. I think
Okay.
Rex came off of mute.
Hey there, good sir.
Hi.
Welcome.
I had something to add to the conversation. I thought Susan was saying you were using the word separation as if it was an actuality. And I want to make sure we're all being attentive that the separation is part of the delusion and part of the
The
illusion.
illusion. Yep.
And that we have established early on because we're born in full harmony and unity, as I see it, as that oneness is all pervasive in who we are. And then we decide, usually it's unconscious with most all of us, to let go of that awareness. It doesn't go away. It's not gone. It's just below conscious awareness. And what we've been talking about, Michael, it's where the development of the unconscious mind, I'm sure, But I wanted to reiterate that because when we use the word separation, when we went into separation, we reinforce the idea that we're separate. So that's what I wanted to say. Thanks.
Yeah.
And the
Thanks,
fact
Rex.
is we can't be separate. We
Can't
Yeah.
can create this construct in the mind that makes it look like we're separate. If we were separate, we'd evaporate.
Exactly.
There's no such thing. That's just when we superimpose a false image, then we hide the truth from ourselves.
And it's a regulatory speech pattern that we use to reinforce something that we're really doing our best to accept the truth of who we are. And that is we're pure love and we're connected and we're one. But when we use the word, when we went through separation, we reinforce it. And I just catch myself when I find myself saying something like that, Susan. So that's why I
Thank
try to.
you. I appreciate that. And in the dream that I went, so right now they're showing me in my mind's eye, just see behind the dream. We're whole, we're complete, we're on a journey without distance to a place we never left. So so we went on this dream, and in the dream world, I had the perception that I was separate. And thank you for cleaning up the regulatory language, because I want to hold the truth that always we're one. There
And
isn't a
that
moment where
answers
there is moments of separation are falsehoods.
it actually answers the question, my first question, getting information from outside of ourselves. So we think in terms of I'm a body, I'm an individual, I'm separate. And
Yep.
for practical purposes, that's the case, right? We build a house, we drive a car, somebody else doesn't, we are, right? But as an energy structure and an energy field of consciousness, we're all still technically connected. So if there is a Holy Ghost, and I know my camera's not on, I'm quote, air quotes, if there's a Holy Spirit within me, the breath, if you will, well, the same information that's in somebody else, the same Holy Ghost or breath, coherence that's in them is the same that's in me at exactly the same time. That's not a problem then, thinking about it that way. We're never separate.
And I practice that. I also practice that, exactly what you're saying, because the breath is the comforter. And there's different, I think you may have heard me say that. I noticed when I was with Michael, I got to experience the different levels of breath. So there's the breath at the superficial level where the respiratory process is happening.
Yeah.
And then as we breathe, we go to a really deep breath where you're being breathed from the sacred heart. And the
Yeah.
sacred heart is breathing every single subtle energy body that we reside
Ancient
in.
frequency. Yeah.
And so when I'm sitting in a grocery line or anywhere, I
Yeah.
meet other at the breath that I'm holding. So I hold this, that I'm sitting and going into the depth of breath where the comforter is with me. And even when I'm speaking to people at times, I'm breathing that the highest truth comes through this expression. And they may only be perceiving at they're in the respiratory breath, but yet often it can go much deeper.
Oh, sure. Oh, yeah. I think we've all, if you're paying attention, we've all experienced
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
You might want to,
Wonderful.
when we finish, and I had shared this with Susan last week before I dropped off at the airport, but everybody else might want to look up a song on YouTube by a woman named Shania Noll, SHAINANOLL. It's called You Can Relax Now. The words are so perfect. And, the basic essence of the song, you had a dream. You misunderstood. You thought we were separate, but now you hear my voice and you can relax now. Go on and open your eyes. See clearly now I am with you. You are the love of my life. You are my own creation. And that will always be. Powerful tune. She sings it just beautifully.
Yeah.
Shania Knoll, you can relax. So you might give your friend a link to that tune to breathe with, and
I'll do that too.
be
Yes, thank
powerful
you.
at helping to undo whatever thought disorders he's working with.
Yeah, no problem. He actually just sent a message. Let's see here. He had to deal with some online coursework or something that came up, so no problem. All right.
Cool. Sweet.
Yeah. Nice.
All right. Yeah. Good topic. Good opening. Welcome, Miss Cammie. Nice to see the picture of your sweet face. Anything exciting to share with us? I
Hi,
assume you're back from the western frontier.
I am. Yes,
Oh, well, welcome home. How'd it go?
thank you. It was awesome. I
Yeah.
mean, I got to spend time with Alex.
Yeah.
The weather was really cold for August up there,
Well,
but
what's that guy? What was that line that the coldest winter I ever spent was a summer in Seattle?
I've never heard that one.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Somebody said that somewhere along the way.
yeah, it was in the upper 90s the week before, so I was really looking forward to going. And
Oh.
yeah, it was in the 60s at the beach. But
Ah.
I got to
Oh
see
well.
my boy. So,
That's the important thing, isn't it? Cool. Sweet.
hmm
And he's well and rocking and
he is. Yep.
nice.
He broke up with his girlfriend, I don't know, a month and a half ago. And he has absolutely no regrets and just feeling a lot of relief over it. So
Ah.
that's good.
She was giving him opportunities to learn forgiveness.
Um, yeah, I mean, of course. And she has a lot of issues. Um, it, yeah, let's just say that she was his mother, and you know how many issues I have. So
So the
I'm kind of
resonance was
glad.
perfect.
I'm kind of glad he moved on from that.
Hmm.
Yeah. She
Well,
and
breathing with you around that.
uh,
Breathing with you around that. You sound good. You sound connected and happy, and that's nice to hear.
yeah, yeah.
Cool.
Just trying to figure out whether I want to go to Mexico this winter or not. So, because it's getting time, and I keep going back and forth, and I don't know why I'd want to stay here, but
well, I'm sure you'll make exactly the choice you need to make.
absolutely.
Cool.
Yep. So,
Oh, anything
yeah,
else to share?
all is well. I don't. Everything is. Oh, I did want to ask Sean something. He had said, let me see.
Yeah. Shoot.
I wasn't going to talk. I just checked in, but I wrote down a question for Sean from the last time him and I were both on the
Oh yeah.
show. And I'm going to have to save it for another day instead of taking everybody's time up with it because
Yeah.
I don't see it.
Michael or Jeannie can shoot it to me. I mean, that's fine. I don't. Whenever.
Okay. Thank you.
Cool. All right.
Are you guys still doing the Power Person worksheet?
Well, I don't know if you've heard that Susan had broken her collarbone.
No.
Yeah, well, she came down. We did a
Oh.
3-day quantum still point session, and 2 days later, she was back home with her son out doing power bikes and decided to take a little detour off the trail and broke her collarbone in two places. So we haven't gone back to the power person worksheet since then, but we will do that soon. So I'm
Oh,
sure Susan would appreciate you breathing with her and connecting in with her, moving through. Well, let Susan speak for
absolutely,
herself.
Susan.
You have any thoughts to share, Susan?
Yeah, just actually, yeah, the power. No, I'm ready to go back to the power person. I mean, this is all on point. Everything that's, initiating the power person and then coming down for the breath work and then what I resonated into my reality with the break. It's all perfect. So yeah, definitely appreciate any, and by the way, I've been feeling everybody. I mean, there's a lot of, oh my gosh, so many people that are doing Reiki and getting texts all the time from people that, and supports, and I can really feel it. And just trusting the process. And yeah, definitely willing to go back into the power person when ready.
Yeah. Should we jump back on it tomorrow?
Sure. That works for me.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Fabulous.
And nice to hear your voice, Cami, by the way. And I did get your email, and I'll respond to it. I just haven't had a chance to yet.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, I am breathing with you, Susan. You sound good considering.
Yeah, it's been a week now. It was a week yesterday that this all happened. And yeah, it was exactly on time. Many things are moving through, and I'm letting go of lifetimes of old patterning to be the full embodiment of both the masculine essence and the feminine essence in the truth. So, and it feels as though I was saying earlier, when I guess truth, when there's blockage to truth, it gets filled up with non-being mind energy.
Yeah. I can't hear you.
It's
Cut out,
taking,
Susan.
sorry, it's cleaning out the non-being mind energy around the masculine essence. And then so I can refill it with the truth. So all the blockage to truth that I've been holding around, not being able to be, not being supported, all of these falsehoods, I'm reconciling them all and coming home to the truth. So what a gift.
I was
Yay.
wondering what your take was on that. You know, um,
Well, I knew
kind of
instantly when it
like,
happened. When it
uh-huh,
happened, my first thought was, God be with me. That's what I said out loud. God be with
uh-huh.
me. And then I said to
Instead of
Alexander,
suffering.
yeah, I said to Alexander, I have to bring the breath back in the body. And I just started breathing, and he went, trying to, I said, Alexander, just leave me be for a minute. I got to connect with the breath. And then he lifted me up. And then lo and behold, a paramedic and a nurse happened to be on the trail, and they came upon me and helped me get out. And then, yeah, so it's, you can't make it up. And his
Right.
name was Michael, the paramedic's name was Michael, and the nurse's name was Sarah. So I'm like, okay,
A gentle, caring, nurturing male figure showed up
yes,
on a remote trail to take
yeah.
care of her broken collarbone.
I know, and then he
I
even
mean,
blocked the sun. He said,
resonance.
yeah, he even said, I don't want the sun in your eyes. I'll stand here. And he blocked the sun so it would have shade and said, we'll go at your pace. Um, yeah, it was really,
Was
really beautiful.
was it a
Wow.
night? Was it a night in shining speedos?
It was a night in shining with a doggy and just just a beautiful divine masculine that
Yeah,
showed up. And I
big
felt
brand new
very,
circuits.
yeah, and that's exactly true. That it was that right there. It was a rewiring of old patterns in that
Yes.
moment.
It
The
was a piece
beginning
of
of,
work that
yeah,
you had done Thursday night, I think, that
yeah,
created the major opening. That piece
yeah,
of work you did on Thursday and then Thursday night, and the way you
yeah,
stepped in on Friday morning at the Quantum Still Point, and you were just like
Ready. Yeah.
breakthrough city,
yeah,
just done. So
yeah. And then knowing that,
Awesome.
so this break, and it's this break to liberate that energy. It's exactly perfect. I feel that all along, and I have nothing but gratitude and feel very blessed because that energy was blocked in that part of my body for a long time, and it would not release. and I didn't know what the heck, and the tightness, and it's still, it's unwinding through this whole process. It's actually, the energy is loosening, that constricted mind energy, taking the breath there. So I'm very excited for what's to come.
I never thought I would say this before
Yeah.
about somebody breaking a bone. That's
Yes.
awesome.
Yes. It really is. And then, because I resonated that into activity, because I was saying to Michael, you know, I really feel whatever that constricted mind energy that was locked in bone, and it was not
Mm-hmm.
releasing. It was stuck, and I could not find its liberation. And now with the break, it seems to be an opening.
That's what I was wondering when you said that. That's
Yeah.
very
Yeah.
cool.
Mm-hmm. And again, what Sean was saying earlier, had I made a different choice or went to victim, all that, right? Because we're creating a reality in every moment as we go forth. And by the work I did with, I did the Iwipi ceremony, then went to Michael's, did some really deep work, and then this showed up. So it's all on time.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Holding the space for you.
Thank you so much, you guys.
All right. Thanks everybody for joining us. We'll step into the Power Person worksheet tomorrow. Blessings.
Bye-bye.